record.
There we go. Gotcha.
Good old Zoom, eh?
There you go. What would we do without it?
I know. Especially in these times, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready to go? Yeah? Okay. I'll let you finish your sip of water.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Hello and welcome to the Self-Made Book Channel. I'm Bianca.
And I'm Byron.
And today we are joined by the marvelous John Lee. If you've not heard of him, where have you been? I just don't even know. So we've got him for a very short period of time. We reached out and we said, look, it's quarantine. People need some inspiration and motivation and information.
Absolutely.
And he said yes. So here we are. We'd love to hear a bit more about you. So to get started, could you just give us a little bit of information about your journey?
Wow. How long do we have? First of all, thank you both for having me on the show. And I think I really so admire what you're doing and helping people through this whole situation right now and giving that direction. So thank you for providing this platform to really make an impact. 10 years ago, I started a business in real estate. I worked in my mom's Chinese takeaways, a dishwasher. And my parents always wanted to become a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant. Unfortunately, I wasn't clever enough to do that. So the only thing I was good at was drawing. So then I became an animator. So I worked in London, Wardour Street, and you know, you're familiar with London. It's kind of like, what is it? It's like Groundhog Day, isn't it? You get there, it's so busy, and people are just, I don't know, they're just like zombies. They walk around like this, quite rude.
Yeah.
And so for me, I work in this company. I work for a company called EA Games, which I became very good at, becoming this animator. So I went to school, went to university, and I got an animation degree. And I remember working in this job, and I got so good at what I did that my boss became a little bit intimidated. So he decided to kind of push me out of the company and say I wasn't good at what I did. And it was like every day I went to work, it was like walking on eggshells. Mm-hmm. And so I remember the day I got fired, I walked out of my box and I was walking under this tunnel. I was walking through it. And I remember saying to myself, you know what? I'm never going to let anyone point the finger at me and say you're fired. And so then, of course, between the transition of a job into an entrepreneur, I got another job in Wardour Street in London. I worked for a company called Framestore CFC that they do all the films now for Avengers Endgame, X-Men, Harry Potter. They do all the big blockbusters. And I remember working in that job, and on the side, I was doing this side hustle. And so my first business was real estate and property investing. So I remember going onto the internet and typing in how to make money from property. And all these seminars came up. And I go to these seminars and then people would say, you shouldn't go there. It's a scam and they're trying to get money from you and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to learn because, there's nowhere else I can learn this stuff from. So I attended my first seminar, and to cut long story short, I literally tried to do this stuff myself, and I failed. Mm-hmm. Like I was trying to do stuff myself. And one of the things and I started reading all these books and going to these seminars and these networking events. And people said, Johnny, if you want to become successful, you need to get a mentor. And I remember I seeked a mentor. It took me a long time to find this mentor, and his name was Ying Tan. And I said to him, look, could you mentor me? I heard that you're successful in property. Could you mentor me? He said, sure. It's only £10,000. I'm like, £10,000. So I went home and I told my, girlfriend at the time. And what do you think she said when I told her I want to pay someone £10,000? Right? And so I remember I sold my car anyway, and I paid this guy £10,000 for 2 days of coaching. And within 6 months, I bought 35 houses in 6 months. I made my first million at the age of 27. And once I did that, then I had this money, and then I started diversifying into online businesses as an investor. Last year we just floated our company in the stock exchange. We did our first IPO. And now I'm doing tech. So now we have a technology company, and online businesses and training companies. So now a lot of this stuff, and that's how it kind of started, but it started with making that first decision.
Absolutely. Love it. So you spoke about something which is quite interesting, the importance of mentoring. And I feel that now people are starting to finally come to terms with having a mentor is not a scam. It's a good thing. But give us some of your top reasons for having a mentor.
Well, I think the first one is time. You have 24 hours a day. Bianca, you have 20 hours a day. Byron, you have 20. I have 24 hours. Richard Branson says 24 hours. we can't get any more time. That's it. Like once this interview is over, that time that's gone will never come back. So for me, it was like, well, when people go out and they'll spend like, I don't know, £5,000 on a holiday, they're going to have some fun. I'm like, wait a minute. Have you ever seen the film The Matrix, the first one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a scene where Neo says to Trinity, and he says, do you know how to fly that thing? And then in the back shot, they put this card in, and then and then she can suddenly fly this helicopter, right? So I thought, wow, wouldn't that be cool if I could just like go to a billionaire and just like put my hand on his head and just absorb all that knowledge. And so that's how I see it. I don't see it as an expense. I don't see it as a cost. I see it as an investment to me, because ultimately it's like I'm gaining these powers. And I'm quite a film geek because I used to work in the film industry, right? So there's another TV series called Heroes. I don't know if you've seen the film before. It's a TV series called Heroes, and it's about all these people who've got superpowers. And there's this one character, his special power is to be able to absorb other people's powers. And so I thought, wow, wouldn't that be really cool in business if I could just like absorb the ability to speak Mandarin overnight, or absorb that person's ability to, like Warren Buffett's, trading strategy, or, Richard Branson's business. Like I thought like that. And so I never quite understood why people did not want to invest in their education, because they thought it was a cost. Like for me, it's a shortcut. Like people say to me, I want to get rich, I want to make money, I become financially free. Well, don't you want to do that fast?
Yeah.
And so that's the main reason why I get mentors. Even till today, even though I have a listed company, I listed it last year. The day we listed it, it was valued over 30 million euros. So it's like, that's something that required mentoring as well. We had to go to someone who knew how to list a company. We had to know someone who had to prepare the company for a pre-IPO. We had to know how to do fundraising. So we got and we paid a lot of money, like for these, advisors to come along. But I think you just save a lot of time. I mean, every second that's gone is gone forever.
The top 3 tips then on someone looking and seeking for a mentor.
All right. So I will say there are a lot of fake gurus out there, right? So be very, very careful. The person, for example, right now, I mean, I wrote a book called Business Hack, right? And the book talks about how do you create an online brand and an online business and monetize. And so like right now I have 5 million people that follow me on social media. So do I have the right to teach that? Am I good at teaching that? Well, I'm not the best, but I have the result, right? So that's the first thing. Make sure you go to somebody who's got the result that you want. So, I mean, you wouldn't go to a personal trainer and say, hey, an overweight personal trainer and say, teach me how to get into shape, right? Just the same reason you wouldn't go to someone who's broke to tell you how to make more money.
Yeah.
So the first one is, do they have the result that you want? Second of all, do you connect with that person? Because some people, like some mentors are really hard. Like, if you don't do this, you're a loser and this and that. Some mentors are too laid back. So you got to find the one that connects with your mindset. And also the third one, which is really important, is values. I had mentors in the past that all they cared about was money, and they'll do anything to get money. Like if you've got to, rip somebody off, or if you've got to do something a bit shady, or, hey, if you want to make money, like in property, there's one, I won't mention the name, but he said, oh, if you want to get really good deals, here's how you make money. This is how I made a lot of money. So how do you do it? He said, well, I go to somebody and I agree a deal and we shake hands on it. And the last minute I change my mind. I'm like, why? He said, because they're so far into that deal that they've now committed. And if they don't do that deal, they're going to lose money. I said, that's not the right way to do business.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, so you got to, I mean, and don't get me wrong, this guy was making millions, but the wrong way.
Sure.
I would rather make money slower with the right way and ethically. And that's just the way I operate business.
Yeah. So you have an extensive property portfolio, right? And I guess this is a question that people always ask you. The first question is, how did you get into property, first of all, and buy your first property? Yeah. And what advice would you give to anybody that wants to get into property? Yeah. So real estate was really my first venture.
I do a lot of things. I'm an investor. I'm an advisor. I'm advisor to boards on different companies as well. But I think, first of all, how did I get into it? It was, purely by desperation, I guess. I needed to, like, in my mind, because I'm not a very academically bright person. I didn't get straight A's. I'm dyslexic, so I find it very hard to study. So I just thought, what's the easiest way I can make money? Well, simple. Buy a house low and sell it at a high price. That's it. So then I started to, go on courses where I learned about negotiation. I went on courses learning about marketing. I went on courses learning about presentation skills, because these are all the skills that you need if you want to do property. And so I remember the first house that I bought in a place called, it's not far from Surrey, it's an older shop, right? And, not far from Guildford. So when I was, finding it, so 92 Grosvenor Road was the house that I bought for 85,000, and I sold it for 185,000. At the time, it was on the market for about 175. So when people said to me, "Oh, John, there's no way you can get those properties below market value," it's a good job I went to those seminars, because everybody in that area, in that seminar, knew that you could get these deals. Yeah. So that gave me a belief that, oh, maybe this does work. So I'm so glad I attended those seminars. Otherwise, I'd have said, there's no way this person would accept 85,000. And the reason why is because the house needed about 20 or 30,000 pounds worth of work, and the person had no mortgage on the house anyway, so they were still making money, and it has to be a win-win. Mm-hmm. So, and I remember when I negotiated that deal, I didn't even have the money. Mm. Right. One thing I learned in these seminars is that, people say you need money to buy houses. You don't. You need to have other people's money to buy houses. Yeah. So then I joined another group of investors. It cost me £3,500. I bought my way in. And in that investor group, I found a lady called Karen Rutter, who then put me in touch with a lady called Shirley Wheeler. And she's the one that gave me the money to buy the house. I literally borrowed £85,000 cash from her to buy the house. I sold it. I repaid her the money, and the difference I kept. That became my seed capital and how I started this whole empire.
Love it. I love the story. So anybody that's interested in potentially in getting into property, you always say, I always find they don't do the research. They don't know.
They don't know what they need, how much they need. They don't know where to look, and they haven't asked the right people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
what I realize is that property is a people's game. You've got to find the right people. Like one of my business partners, Vincent Wong, he's the author of a book called Property Entrepreneur. So he had this website called Network Property Buyers, which was the #1 website for all, like those WeBuyAnyCar.com. It's the same, but for houses. And so what I realized is that if I was good at something, there was a few beliefs. Number one is, if you find a deal, the money will find you, and it did. But what I also found was that if you work with the right people, then it only takes one relationship and one deal with that person to explode. And so when I joined forces with him, he was like, I went from buying a property like every 3 months to like a property every month. It was insane.
Yeah.
He had the stock. I didn't, but I was good at negotiation. So then we had a win-win. He gives me the deals, I negotiate, I buy, I pay my fee. And so then after that, after a couple of, we did quite a few transactions, we then decided to partner together.
And what are your biggest challenges, I guess, at the moment for your business and where you are in the event space? Or let's talk back from this. How has COVID affected you and your business?
Oh, hugely. I mean, last year we ran 117 events. This year, well, now I just canceled some big events. I mean, postponed. We not canceled. When lockdown's over, then we can resume. But I was supposed to have an event in Melbourne with Tony Robbins with 4,000 people. That was all booked, flights, hotels, everything. I was supposed to have an event 2 weeks ago with 1,000 people in Kensington. So it's hugely affected my events business. I mean, it's pretty much non-existent now. Right? But luckily, I learned something from all these top entrepreneurs. And when I went to these seminars, and one thing I learned was you should never put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. Which is why over the last 10 years, I've not only had an events company, but I've also had a consulting company. I've also have lots of online businesses. All right. We also have a software business as well. And so these are all things that for me, if I hadn't have had that, if I just relied on events, we'd be finished right now.
What is the biggest pivot you've had to make as a result of this current pandemic?
Great question, Bianca. I love that. Now, so I invested around £3 million into software, right? And so a platform. So one of the things I realized, one of the trends, well, I was doing a lot of research, and the biggest trends, and this was about 5 years ago, the trend was by 2025, the biggest trend that's happening, which will be like, worth billions, is the e-learning industry. So what we're seeing now is that people are stuck at home. What are they going to do? They can't go to events anymore. They still need the education. So now that's why you're seeing everybody online doing these Instagram lives, Facebook lives, everyone's uploading content, but it's too fragmented. So one of the things I decided to do was build a platform, because one of the biggest growing businesses is either groceries, right? Those people are making the money right now, e-commerce, or e-learning. So these are the three top biggest things that are happening right now, which is why Jeff Bezos's net worth rose by 6 billion in the last couple of weeks.
Crazy.
Right? Because he's got e-com. So I invested £3 million, 4 years of research and development. And now in the next, coming weeks, we're going to be launching a platform that allows anybody to start an online business, getting paid a recurring passive income, doing what they love to do. And with a few clicks. You don't need to be technical. You don't have to be, super smart. You just need to be good at what you deliver. And then the content goes in and you get paid recurring income. So
I think that's so interesting, because at the moment we're seeing DJs, personal trainers, and what have you, giving lots of Instagram lives and content for free. And I'm a big advocate for value for free. But as you were saying in one of your other videos, value for free, but implementation for a fee.
Yeah.
And I think we need more people to convert that free value into some sort of business, and that's what you're saying.
They don't know how.
Yeah, they just don't know how. So this is what this.
Yeah, that's why we created Memby. So Memby stands for your membership. So it's like, imagine you have your own private membership now. So people can, in that membership, there's going to be lots of stuff for free. But here's the thing that I'm seeing happening right now, and you're absolutely right. People can get so much stuff online now for free. So then why would people pay to be part of your membership? Well, 3 reasons. 1 is you're the authority in that, all right? 2, you got a brand, right? And 3 is a concept I call freemium. So you can have some free parts, but there's also the premium version of it. So that's why people, because if you just come out of nowhere and you're like, sign up to my membership, it's like, why? I don't even know who you are. But if you've gone through about 50 of my videos that give you a lot of value, and video number 52 is going to teach you how to replace your income and become financially free, and you pay $10 a month to access that, you probably would.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not a high ticket. So what you want to go now is low premium ticket items, which is recurring.
So you already have a platform which has content from a variety of different mentors, right?
No. This is that is one. So that's our app. So we have an app as well that we spend a lot of money developing. But this is different. So we do have kind of like the Netflix for self-development, where you can download the app wealthdragons, and just go to App Store and you can download it, and there's lots of people on there. But what we found is actually people want their own businesses. Like imagine now, Bianca, you have your own membership site on, Successful Mindset, right? Or we take this podcast and we create the membership site, and you might give maybe 5 minutes of this interview, and then if they want the rest, they have to join your membership. Because another thing and this is great, because there's a concept called 1,000 true fans, and that is you only need 1,000 people to pay you a recurring income. And for that, most people could actually, replace their income with that. If you got 1,000 people paying you $10 a month, it's 10,000 a month. Pounds, that's 120,000 a year. And you get to do what you love to do.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. But it's so interesting. Most people the influencers of the world don't have those true 1,000 true followers.
Committed followers who will be willing to part with their hard-earned money to support them, yes. And that's the thing, I guess, when we talk about the fake mentors out there. There are people who've got extensive following, but actually, are they engaged? Are they engaged enough to part with their money to get that value from you?
Yeah, and so here's the thing, right? So people always say to me, so if you imagine a triangle, right? So the triangle has 3 parts. I call this the success principle. So if you've got the first one, you've got to have your marketing, right? Because without marketing, no one knows you're invisible. And if you're invisible, no one can find you. That's where social media kind of plays a good part. I've certainly seen that for me, because of social media, the more followers I had, the more my income went up because the more people I was helping. The second part of that is your sales part. So you need to make sales, you need to sell something, otherwise you can't sustain the business. That's why a lot of businesses are going out of business right now. The last part at the bottom is your systemization. So you got to have a system in place to be able to scale that business, which is one of the reasons, like for me, if we can no longer run events anymore, it makes no difference to me because I just do it online. That's another way we pivoted as well. So we're doing a lot of our training online now. Yeah. So, and like kind of like this. So, I've got my pen here. I've got this little, like whiteboard that I use, and I just draw on this and people can see what I'm writing. Then I can do like live examples and things like that. So now the training is now pivoted to online physical training and online virtual event or summit. Yeah. So yeah.
Continue doing, because I think a lot of people feel like this is a momentary change as a result of a pandemic, but actually I can see the future of some of this training and conferences being online.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it's just, I did a training the other week and I was like, after the training, I felt really bad. Why? Because I'd made so much money without doing anything. Oh, seriously. I'm sat in my house, I go downstairs, I go and get my protein shake, I have a sandwich. Literally 2 minutes before I'll go upstairs, turn on Zoom, and I'll just start teaching. I'm like, fuck, that was easy. I don't have to fly 20 hours to the other end of the world, recover from jet lag, pay for all these costs, wake up in the morning, get, my suit on and psyched up and go on stage. I'm like, look, I just spent like 4 hours and I made more than 4 hours. Then I did a whole weekend in an event.
Yeah, we felt the same. Yeah. We do so many events and so, I do a lot of keynote speaking, and now I'm getting to do it from the comfort of my home.
It's crazy.
Right. And it's like, shit, I just made like $5 grand from that, 10 grand for that keynote speech for half an hour of my time.
Yeah. And it's literally half an hour now. Yeah. Whereas before, travel time, getting to the event once.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's great though.
So this is like, it's kind of like this. Do you know when you are working in your business and you start hiring people and they start doing all the work and you sat at home and you're like, something feels a bit wrong here. Why do I feel so free? Yeah. Because we're so into it. So yeah, I definitely see the whole landscape is changing. E-learning. That's why over the last 4 years, I spent so much time and invested so much money building this platform for people. So if they can drag and drop, copy and paste, they can have their own online business, making them passive income.
Excellent. So whilst we're talking about social media, I kind of noticed a shift in your social media content. And this is from my viewpoint. I don't know if you would agree. So kind of mid 2018, I felt that there was a shift in the content you was putting out, a lot more video content. Was that, first of all, a conscious decision? And has it had an impact in your following and your business?
Yeah, it was definitely a conscious decision. In 2018, because I spend millions of dollars with Facebook and Instagram and all these companies, that they invite me down to their headquarters, right? So I kind of get a lot of their information before anybody else. And they spend millions of dollars doing research. And one of the things they said to me, say, John, by 2021, 83% of all traffic will be video based. So that's why I use, YouTube now. So I wasn't really a big user of YouTube. I only have less than 60,000 people follow me on YouTube compared to my other platforms where I have millions of people. But the reason why I use YouTube is because YouTube is owned by Google. And if you put a video on YouTube and people search for you now, it's now become the second biggest search engine in the world. So if you go to YouTube, you type in how to invest in businesses, I'm on the first page. Yeah. Right? So, and those videos now start ranking in the Google search engine when there's the #1 biggest search engine in the world. So that's why I consciously decided to put a lot more video content. And at the time, I didn't think that people were going to watch them. But when I checked back, I'm like, shit, this one got 50,000 views, 20,000 views, 100,000 views, 500,000 views. I'm like, all these views. It's like, I've got like over 100 million views across all my social media platforms right now.
Crazy.
That's a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah. Absolutely. What's next for you? What is the next big thing?
Next thing for us is taking our company to $1 billion valuation. And I don't say that because I want to become a billionaire. Like my mission now, money for me, it's not about the money. I mean, really, it's not. I've got all the toys you can think about, all the cars, the houses, the lifestyle. I've got everything that I want. That I've, no more money can buy me any more stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So for me now, it's about legacy. For me, it's about mission. My mission now is to revolutionize the education system. And I say that because growing up from a background, from a Chinese background, it's always, well, become a lawyer, become an accountant. And I'm like, why do people go to, university anyway? And they graduate with all this debt because they want to get a job. So I really wanted to, and that's why I put so much free content online, because I really want people to understand this. So the reason why I want to become $1 billion company is so I can take all that money, pump it back into my exposure so I can reach more people. Like my goal is to really reach every single person on this planet and make an impact to them at some level.
Yeah. So John, we've got a quick fire round for you.
Sure.
Where we're going to ask you, some may appear random.
All right.
We're going to ask you some questions about you. And we don't want to think about it too much, just quick fire answers, right? You want to go ahead first?
Sure. Okay. First question, tough one. Sparkling water or still water?
Definitely still.
Drive or be driven?
Driven.
Okay.
I do have a full-time chauffeur. His name is Sarge. He drives me around everywhere, so saves a lot of time.
Okay, lunch with Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos?
Elon Musk.
Okay, all right, I like that one. Favorite movie?
Avengers.
Okay, favorite book, and you can't choose your own.
Steve Jobs' autobiography.
Okay, I like that. Give us two more, just out of curiosity.
Steve Jobs' autobiography, Elon Musk's autobiography, and Think and Grow Rich.
Okay, cool. Let's go one more final one.
I've got one. So hardest business decision you've ever had to make?
Taking our company public.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a tough one, that one, because...
In a moment, but what's your pet peeve?
Most of my pet, what don't I like?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really impatient, actually. Like, if stuff's not done fast, I get really annoyed. Like, why is it not done? I called you a minute ago. Why is it not done? That's you, is it, bianca?
Yeah, no comment.
Look, why have you not responded to that email?
No comment. So just to go back to that, in terms of, floating the business, why was that a hard decision for you?
Because it meant I would lose a lot of control. So when you take a company public, even though I am the founder of the company, doesn't mean I have control, because I have now investors. So the investors have also corporate governance. We have a CFO, we have non-executive directors, we have a CEO, CTO, CEO, all these people who are part of the board. And it just takes forever to make a decision. Like if I want to make a decision, it's not, before I could just yep, snap decision, do it. But now we have corporate governance. And so, and also as well, going public meant that we had to sacrifice our profits as well, because now all the attention went on. So here's the thing, right? This is something I learned from floating company. You can either have profit or you can sacrifice profit for valuation, right? But a lot of people always go for profit because it's an instant gain, right? I'm not saying that businesses should be profitable. They should. But at that time, over 4 years, we were so distracted with the fundraise. We were so distracted with the development of the platform that we couldn't really focus on anything else. And so, as a result, the revenue dipped. As a result of that, our focus went from our core business to this IPO, but now we're a public company. Oh, I'm so glad, because now we can raise millions of dollars, if we want. I can go on, business shopping. I can go and buy companies with equity now. So it just gives me a lot more leverage. And, if people listen to this, they say, oh, John, I want to become an investor. They can actually go out and find our ticker and invest. So, a lot of these things, sometimes we have to delay our gratification to get what we want in the future, but that's really hard. It's like it's a weird analogy, but it's like, you really need a toilet, but you're going to try to hold it in, right? You try to hold it in for 4 years, but you want to go, you have to go. It feels painful. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
I know it's a weird analogy, right? But yeah.
That's an interesting one. I like like that. So just give us some top tips for entrepreneurs, anybody thinking about starting a side hustle or business or another income, just some quick top tips for an entrepreneur.
Okay. First tip is make sure that it's scalable. So right now, online businesses are scalable because you're not, and so here's another thing. We talked about the events before. I'm now getting people from all around the world and my viewership's going. I literally did a live training with 1,500 people and it took 3 days to promote that event.
Yeah.
It would have taken 3 months to promote that event just to get 500 to 1,000 people and cost me, 150,000 to put that event on.
Yeah.
So definitely make it scalable and make it online and make sure you have the actual, so I've got this methodology called SMOP-F. So every business needs to start, has to have sales. No sales, no income, no business.
Yeah.
Marketing, got to have the visibility. No one knows who you exist. You're not going to get any, sales in the first place. Operations, don't work in the business, work on the business. Have systems in place so you can scale it. 4, people, right? Work with the right people. For me, you've got to have your power team. So like my power team, I have a lot of promoters. So I have people that promote me all around the world. I have collaborators like yourselves who will take this and then, share this with thousands of other people, right? Then we have our core team. Our core team is people who are the best at what they do. And one thing I realized early on, don't be the best at what you do. Hire people that are better than you. Yeah. It's a hard concept to overcome because of that ego thing. You got to let go of it. So that's the 4th on the people. And the last one is finance. Constantly be raising finance even when you don't need it.
Yeah.
So those would be the biggest tips I have for her. And definitely right now, because everyone's online, that's where the attention is now. Definitely start an online business. It'd be so easy for people right now to start an online business and start monetizing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. Final 2 questions.
Well, final one. Do you have a question for us?
Yeah. How did you even start this whole podcasting? How long have you been doing it? Why you do it? And I'm fascinated.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Brian and I are both entrepreneurs and we have our separate businesses. So my primary business is a personal branding company. So we deliver training, consultancy on personal branding for the likes of Accenture, PwC, HSBC, American Express, Deloitte, Facebook, Tesco, whatever. That's my primary business. Then I have a fashion brand. Then Byron has a luxury chauffeur company and a bridal directory and investment in a construction recruitment company. And basically what was happening was I was traveling around the world, delivering keynote speeches about entrepreneurship, personal branding. And we were finding that people were coming up after the talk saying, how do I do it? Yeah. How do I do it? What do I do? I've got an idea, help. And so we decided to write a book. The book is called Self-Made, The Definitive Guide to Business Startup Success. It became a number 1, here we go, look, book. Oh,
awesome. Wow, nice cover. I love the cover.
Thank you. That became a number 1 bestseller. But what actually happened as a result was people said, we want mentorship. So, I know you're a big advocate for mentoring. So we thought, let's create a program. So we created the program. We now have a fantastic community of people that we mentor. And then we started speaking to more entrepreneurs because, we're all learning. And I think we have to continuously learn. So speak to someone like yourself, being able to get great information from you for us, but also for our community of people who always, are always wanting to do and learn and be more. And I think that's our core motivation.
Awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Amazing.
So yes, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit the like button. Any comments below, we'll do our best to answer them, and share it with someone who you want to win. Okay, guys? So thank you for joining. I've been Byron.
And I've been Bianca.
And Self-Made
is success.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.